Salam and welcome. Thank you for joining me in part number 3 of the Forgotten Path of Knowledge. Right? Just the wonderful works of Maulana Abdul Aleem Siddiqui al-Qadiri, Rahmatullah alayhi, volume number 2. And my thanks to Sheikh Abdul al-Qadiri from Durban, the president of the Imam Ahmad Rida Academy in Durban, KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa. Please get copies of the books from them. Alhamdulillah. So we're looking at the Forgotten Path of Knowledge, and today we're looking at part number 3. And Maulana Siddiqui is continuing with his talk, and he says, in connection with this discussion of the different levels of knowledge, I might relate here a simple incident. And Maulana Siddiqui continues. During my travels, I once visited the famous botanical gardens situated in Kandy in the historic town of Ceylon. Some of my friends were also there with me, along with the children who were of different ages, right? According to the rules, no one could pick flowers. So you could go to the botanical gardens, but you can't now pick the flowers, right? It's landscape gardening. But children are not, as a rule, very law-abiding in these matters. If you tell a child not to do something, they will do it. Hence, a child who was 6 or 7 years old plucked a rose flower, so he took the flower out of the botanical garden, brought it to his father, and questioned the father about it. This fondness for questioning among children, this aspect of curiosity, is proof of the inherent yearning for knowledge existing in human beings. The father informed the child that it was a rose. Father said, "This is a rose." This answer made the child happy, and the child was happy. He had received a new piece of information. With pride, he showed it to the other children, saying, "See, I've got a rose, I've got a rose." And the flower was red in color. In the meantime, another child rushed towards a flower bed and plucked also a flower which was similar in form but was yellow in color. He too brought it to his father and asked him what it was. And the father said, "This is a rose," although it was a yellow rose. Now the second child was a bit older than the first child. He therefore inquired how both flowers be called by the same names, but they were different. So the older child said, "But Daddy, this one is red, is a rose. That one is yellow, is a rose. They look different to me. Why are they both called a rose?" Then the superintendent of the garden, who was an Englishman, explained to the boy that one was the Indian variety of the garden, while the other was the Australian variety of the garden. That means they were hybrids. All the children seemed to be gratified and happy with this further piece of knowledge, and started remarking about the beauty of the roses and about the exquisite smell. If you smell an original rose, absolutely, that gulab, the absolutely fragrance of a rose, absolutely amazing, right? So presently, one elderly boy asked the superintendent about the use of these flowers. What is the benefit of these flowers? So the superintendent was still searching for a reply when Maulvi Sahib, who had accompanied us, remarked that people prepare rose water and use it in religious assemblies and social functions for the sake of its fragrance. This remark was followed by a statement from a herbal doctor who informed us that rose leaves were good for removing constipation and strengthening the heart. So now we are finding more, depending on your level of education, depends. So knowledge is a very vast field, right? The superintendent, who had kept quiet all the while, suddenly plucked a fresh flower and informed the children that there were pairs among the flowers, pointing out the male and female flowers. The children were ultimately thrilled by all of that information. All the informants gave the information according to the extent of their knowledge and their understanding. Similarly with Islam, we all got different levels of understanding of Islam, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so merciful that even if you have little bit knowledge, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards you and showers His mercies on you, because each person got a different level. We can't expect everyone to have the same level of knowledge. So many times when I read the Quran, the verse of the Quran says, read as much of the Quran as may be easy for you. The Quran is easy to understand. Will you not then understand? Right? Read it. So the difficult parts, we leave it to the ulama, we leave it to the scholars, may Allah forgive us, but we say, I will read and understand as much as I can. Yes, you do your research, you try and investigate what is this, what is that, but we cannot compare one another. You must never point fingers at someone to say, oh, I know more than that person or that person or that person. Oh, look how little that person's knowledge is. No. We don't know what that person's knowledge is and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is testing each person and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards each person. So every person got different levels of knowledge. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was absolutely amazing. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam not only had a high IQ, that means he was super intelligent, but he also had a very high EQ. EQ means the emotional quotient, the ability to get along with people. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam knew exactly the skills of his Sahaba. But in a general talk, like in a Jummah talk, he would make it so simple that the masses could understand. Even the wild Bedouins from the Arabs, they could sit and they could immediately understand and grasp it. He didn't talk with difficult, highfalutin language. He didn't give detailed tafsir, where people had to sit with dictionaries. No, he made it so simple. And then on individual one-on-one level, he would then talk differently. He will say, okay, Abu Bakr Siddiq, he will talk with him on a different level. Then with Bilal, he would talk to him with a different level. Then with Salman Farsi, he would talk to him with each person. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam knew exactly what that one's skill is, what that one's skills are, what that one's skills are. If there's a youngster, like what his name is, Anas bin Malik, his butler, he's a youngster, teenager. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam speak to him at a different level. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam knew how to speak to different people at the various levels, depending on their level of knowledge, their understanding, their yaqeen, all of that as well. This is the hallmark of a leader. A leader has got to know their people very well. And if you know your people very well, then you can unleash the potential within them, and you can tell this person, you know what, you will do job number A, you will do job number B, and you will do job number C, right? That's the hallmark of a leader, right? So let's continue. So all the informants gave the information according to the extent of their knowledge. Had there been some eminent botanist or chemist among them, he would have given still further and higher information about the chemical constituents and properties of the flowers. But all those who were there were enjoying the little discussion, and finding them in their enjoyment, I then asked them, did these flowers come into existence by themselves, or someone else created them? What a powerful question that is. Sitting in a botanical garden, and Maulana Siddiqui asked them a very thought-provoking question to say, hey, come back down to earth. You all enjoying the flowers? You all finished? Look at the flowers. One is red, one is yellow. Now you all happy? So, yes, we're happy. You finished? Smell it. Yeah, you smell it. Who created it? Subhanallah. Stay well, look after yourself. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.